How's it going? My name is Nick, and I just want to say first, I appreciate you. Thank you for subscribing to Roll Coverage. It really helps us out a lot. And if you haven't subscribed, make sure you do. Otherwise, just sit back and get ready. It's time to roll coverage.
Hey, I thought it was all over.
Nope.
They roll coverage.
Welcome back, guys. It's time that we take a nice little plane on down to Tampa Bay Buccaneers, to go see Todd Bowles and see his thoughts of the rookie minicamp right here on Roll Coverage. Don't go anywhere. Literally, we're going straight into it. Just like normal, I'm not wasting time.
Afternoon, guys, gals.
Todd, did Tyke Smith make a good first impression with an interception today?
Obviously, he's talking about rookie minicamp, what's happening, all of their acquisitions. If you actually go right above my head, you can see the Bucs draft picks. We got Graham Barton, which I wish my Carolina Panthers would have gotten, Chris Braswell, Tyke Smith, Bucky Irving, who I think is going to be one of the big steals of the draft, Elijah Klein, and, of course, Devin Culp. We are adding pieces. Of course, you lost your wide receiver coach, your offensive coach. I believe you also lost a defensive coach as well. So you lost quite a bit in division to my Carolina Panthers, which kind of sucks for you, but if anybody can rebound it, it's the guy that helped Tom Brady win a championship for the Bucs. So again, Todd Bowles, I give you full range. What are you guys going to do with what you got?
Made a good first impression when we drafted him, so you kind of expected. Everybody's learning some things, but he was a playmaker in college. You got a good chance to be a playmaker in this league.
Absolutely. And again, he's talking about the safety, Tyke Smith. Great opportunity for him to really jump into a role. He's obviously got some people that are going to be ahead of him in the depth chart. But I'm going to be honest. I think the Bucs are kind of in that first, second place for the division. I'm probably going to lean more to the second place and give Kirk Cousins that first place with Atlanta, just because I do think that Atlanta is a little closer to really making a splash in the playoffs. Obviously, the Bucs did crazy last year, so that's kind of a bonus. But it's a new year. You're adding some new pieces. I really kind of wanted to know your thoughts of where your pieces are now.
So I think back to your first ever rookie mini camp. What do you remember about that? Not trying to date you, but what do you remember about walking into a building like that?
There's a lot of people, a lot of rookies, a lot of learning. Just make sure you take every note, try to go over everything, and make sure you don't make the same mistake twice.
Coach, you got two guys on the roster from UCF out here, Sean Peterson and Nagi. What made you want to invite them to camp, and what do you see that they could potentially contribute?
They're good players. They're good players.
Yeah, regardless of where they came from, obviously them being a Tampa team, they're going to want to try and recruit those Florida boys. I'm a Florida boy myself, grew up just south of Tampa. But it's just an interesting thing. Obviously, you want the best player. Doesn't really matter where they're from. But if they happen to be from Florida, it's a even bigger advantage because obviously they'll be able to stay closer to family for longer. So
in their own right, and you can't draft everybody and you can't sign everybody, but we had a chance to get both of them, and they have a chance to prove themselves coming in.
Coach, generally speaking, what's up, Coach?
How you doing?
Good, how you?
Great.
Generally speaking, what are you trying to accomplish in these 3 days with these rookies?
Well, it's just mostly the learning part, getting them acclimated to our scheme, getting them acclimated to the strength program, getting them acclimated to the heat.
Yep, the same thing that we've been talking about with the Dave Canales breakdown, the Dennis Allen breakdown. They got to understand the system, the cadence, the timing, the actual scheme itself. There's so much that goes into it. This is just kind of I'm going to throw you in the deep end. We're going to learn some about you, and then I'm going to bring you back in OTAs, bring you back in training camp, and really hammer those things in. Obviously, they're going to be doing some things off the field as well, learning the playbook and everything. But you really can't get that timing until you're really on the field with those guys.
And understanding how we do things here, so going forward they can catch up. Obviously, the vets have been here in phase 1 and 2 for a while, so these guys got some catching up to do. It's just a matter of introducing them to the scheme and them grasping it and understanding it.
You got 16 undrafted.
I mean, I like that answer. Todd Bowles always gives us direct answers. He's normally somebody I come to for a nice, easy one. He's not going to do anything too crazy. He always answers the questions, so that's something you really see about him. He'll answer every part of every question that he can. So I really like Todd Bowles for that, but he's not going to give us anything too crazy. I need one of these reporters to give us a solid question so he can really break that shell open and tell us something. So
Rookies that are now on your roster, I know a lot of times it has as much to do with circumstance as talent in terms of whether somebody sticks on your roster. Are there any particular you're excited to have right now, or you think have a better chance than others to make it in?
I'll get a better feel in the next coming days. Without one day without seeing them,
That's what I'm saying, man. He's literally got one day without them. It doesn't make sense for him to be like, hey, you got to absolutely come do this. You guys, I know exactly who I want already, and I've only been in the building 24 hours. That doesn't make sense. It's going to be a longer evaluation process, so everybody just got to breathe.
can't say one way or the other. Once the learning slows down and they start playing their natural selves, I'll get a better feel for that.
Does Jalen McMillan look like a plug-and-play type rookie? I mean, a guy that has made some big plays in college, but does he look like a guy who can step in here? You're going with 3 receivers a lot, help you right away.
Well, physically, yes, but mentally, we got to see how he grasps the system. You can't.
That's the big thing. Again, they don't understand the system. They don't understand NFL speed yet. They need time.
I can't answer that right now until he grasps the system, how fast he grasps it and how fast he catches on. But physically, he can step in and play football, but it's a lot more to the game than that.
The versatility inside, outside with him?
It helps. It helps when you can play multiple positions.
Yeah, we heard that a lot from the Carolina side. Guys really getting their opportunity to work on special teams, defense. Maybe you're going to be a gunner. Maybe you might play a few snaps, here or there, really just trying to get them understand and used to the speed of the game. That's always been a thing. NFL speed is different, so I'm going to keep saying it, but we got to give them time.
A back that complements your starting running back. What does Bucky bring? What do you like about what he brings?
Boy, before Todd Bowles goes off on this, I thought Bucky Irving was going to be a very interesting back coming out of college. I really wish that my Carolina Panthers would have went with him over Jonathan Brooks. Not saying I don't like Jonathan Brooks, not saying that I don't think Jonathan Brooks will succeed, but I just really like the versatility and the ability of Bucky Irving. Obviously, he came from a pretty big school. He's got some touches on him, but I think it could be really dynamic. And obviously, being young, he has time to develop and obviously pound some more carries onto him. So
he can stick his foot in the ground and run the ball. More importantly, he can make the first guy miss more often than not. And, that's a rare trait to have in this ball game, especially when, so many guys can tackle well and get to the ball real fast. To make a guy miss, the first guy miss, and potentially have big playability is something that we didn't have a lot of last year.
Could what he does best suit kickoff return as well in this new system?
We'll see. He's returned some kicks before, but we'll see. We got a lot.
I think it's going to be him and Rashad White. Rashad White will probably end up getting relegated at some point, and Bucky Irving will be the starting running back. Again, I think he's going to do great things in Tampa. I hate that my Panthers are going to have to go against him, but I'm expecting a 100-plus rushing game from Bucky Irving. Maybe not this year, maybe next year in his second year, but hey, if he pulls it off in this first year, I will be the first one cheering his praise. Go Bucky.
A lot of ways and a lot of things we want to do and set it up, but we're going to try a few people back there and see how it goes.
You went out getting a couple of guys from Georgia, the receivers coach, Brian McCandless. What did you like about him? He's got obviously an accomplished background in a lot of different places, having success, whether it be coaching running backs in Georgia or more recently wide receivers. But what stood out about him to you during the interview process?
This is an interesting one. He's asking him about acquiring some coaches from Georgia, having lost Brad Idzik and having lost Dave Canales. So I'm really interested to see how he's going to say it. Brad Idzik and Dave Canales were only in that role for a short period of time. I believe Dave was only in that role for a year as OC before he was promoted. So obviously he's only got a limited amount of information on both of them. But I'm very interested to see how these new incoming guys from Georgia compare. Obviously, hopefully he's going to say good things about both, but
not only did he coach running backs and receivers, he was also a coordinator, and me and Liam both found that very appealing and enticing, and it's somebody that could really help him with ideas as well as coach a position. He coaches a lot of pro receivers in the offseason when he was at Georgia that came back to see him. Very bright, hit it off with the rest of the coaching staff on the offensive side when he came in. Lucky to have him, joy to have him. He's a heck of a coach. He's a heck of a person. And we're glad to have him.
I know this is just all learning for these guys, right? And you look at and see what they can do better and everything. But how happy does it make you to see that you drafted Clyde Key to make plays, and today he made a play interception on the ball during team?
He made a good play. We're not going to crown nobody the first day of rookie.
See, that's the thing. First day rookie minicamp, you're not really going to give a whole lot of credence to anybody. You're just going to kind of be like, hey, he made the play. He was better today. I'm going to move on, and we're just going to kind of reevaluate over time. Like I said, it's not going to be a day or 2 days or 3 days. Even somebody like a Marvin Harrison Jr. or a Malik Neighbors is not going to do one play and then all of a sudden be like, oh, he's wide receiver 1 now. Obviously, if he's in a situation like I'm pretty sure Malik is in, he's probably going to end up being wide receiver 1. Same thing with Marvin. But obviously, if you go into a stacked wide receiver room with, say, for example, this one, Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, you wouldn't be really taking that crown so early.
Camp and say he's the greatest of all time, but he made a good play, and we're happy about that. And it's good to see he picked up where he left off in school.
In the same sense, since Jalen McMillan, you can see just smoothing out of his breaks, really kind of a natural route runner and receiver. Was that something that obviously you saw on tape? Happy to see it carry over to the football field?
Yeah, he's in very good shape, very athletic guy. Came in shape, running, so it'd be great to see how well he learns the scheme and how fast.
What makes Kalen DeLoach a good fit for your defense?
Hold on. Did Jalen McMillan go undrafted? There's no way. Okay, I apparently didn't put this one on the list. I apologize, guys. Jalen McMillan I did not put on the list. Let me go see why I didn't. Oh, I skipped right over him. I was literally reading it from the Buccaneers.com thing, and I literally went right over it. Are you kidding me? I apologize, guys. We need to go in here and fix this. He was 392. 392. Wide receiver, Jalen McMillan. That's an interesting one. That changes stuff quite a bit for me, to be honest with you. I was worried why they didn't take any offensive pieces, but I remember seeing something about it, but that's what it is. Okay, so Jalen McMillan. Sorry, I had to fix that for you guys. That's a really interesting one. I like that for them, especially because he can learn behind both Evans and Godwin. He's not going to be asked to be an immediate top-tier wide receiver. You got 2 good ones. You'll probably have Evans retiring in the next few years anyways. Chris Godwin's going to have to get another payday soon. So it's a very interesting thing where you guys are at. Jalen McMillan was the perfect pickup for you guys. I love that for you. And Bucky Irving, that's the offense of the future. You just need to figure out if it's going to be Kyle Trask or Baker Mayfield or whoever it's going to be long-term, past 4 years.
Is there opportunity there in linebacker?
There's a good opportunity back there with that linebacker. He's a very good teams player. He's a very good nickel guy, and he can play Mike or Mo. He can play 2 backer spots, so anybody that has a chance and can do a lot of jobs on this club has a chance to make it.
And I like that. Best player available, best player up, however you want to say it. I'm excited for the Bucs this year. Again, our division being the South, Panthers fan here. I need us to do more. But obviously the Bucs are doing what they can. They're adding offensive pieces, defensive pieces. They're adding great coordinators, accomplished coordinators at a high level from Georgia. So I would expect that offense to continue and at least maintain where its offensive capability is.
Weekend is, for them at least, about learning versus making an impression.
It's a little of both. Obviously the draft picks is more about learning. For the free agents and tryout guys, it's more about learning and making an impression. So you want to come in shape. You want to do the right things. You want to show growth, learning-wise, by each meeting and each day, and put your best foot forward.
Over the last couple of years,
That's a perfect way to put it, especially for the undrafted guys. You're coming in there, you're having to learn a new system, you're having to execute plays quickly, normally probably within the same day or two, to at least show them so you can get that extra contract, that contract in general. You still haven't even made the 53, so there's still a long mountain to climb. I like that he's kind of saying that there's some guys that, kind of need to know. There's some guys that really still need to prove it, though. Those are being the undrafteds.
You guys have really hit on some draft classes. You and Jason did that really good job of not just finding depth, but also finding a lot of starters. How maybe rewarding is it knowing that spots are harder for these undrafted free agents to come get, whereas maybe a couple of years ago when you're turning over the roster, you had to rely on some of those guys to fill holes?
When you get a good team, the cuts are going to be harder and the competition is going to be more. So you welcome that choice, but it's going to be a lot harder. We got some guys that can play, so in order to make this team, you're going to have to unseat somebody. So you're going to have to put your best foot forward.
I like that. I like that he's saying it like that. That hey, we already got some dudes on the team. If you want to take his spot, you got to beat him. That's something that we need more of, more competition. Again, especially in that division, subpar division.
25 coaches here for the National Coaching Academy. They were talking about how impressed they are that there's kind of an open door policy, that they can kind of make full use of everything they can attend, everybody they can talk to this weekend. How important is that for coaches that are trying to get to the next level, whether they be in high school or college right now?
It's huge because what we created here, guided by Darcy Glazer Castlewitz, is a different type of Bill Walsh fellowship where they can come in and learn from the coaches firsthand. They may not have college experience, or some don't have NFL experience. So you get some high school coaches, you get some college coaches. We got some national people from overseas, so they come here for the first time, and to be able to walk in coach's office and look at game plans and look at installs and learn from them, and we get to see them as well, because you never know when things may open up. But I think it's critical. It's something that's never been done before. It's something that we embrace as an organization, that we try to do, but it's a great opportunity for them to get to coach ball, get to see the players firsthand, and for us to get a look at possibly future NFL coaches.
That is smart. I'm not going to lie to you. First of all, did this mess up? Interesting.
Speaking of coaches,
I thought my video broke for a brief second. I'm sorry. Yeah, it's such an interesting thing that the Bucs are standing on the forefront of acquiring new coaches, bringing over international coaches, and so much more. I just don't think of the Bucs when I think of like thinking ahead and all that other stuff. Maybe the Tom Brady stuff changed how that entire organization operates, and if so, thank you, Tom Brady. My family in Tampa is going to be so happy with that. But hopefully you're actually wanting to bring those guys in, and you're giving them the opportunity to actually make your team, as opposed to just developing this talent and then letting it go to other teams. Obviously, like you said, it's feeding high school, it's feeding college, and it's going to feed the NFL, but we just need to kind of think about that part as well. Make sure you retain the best of the best as well.
coach, a lot of times is the tone setter, the trend setter up front for that unit, which is so important to doing things like running the ball and pass protection. What are your first impressions of him as a coach, and how did he interview for you guys?
Carlos is very bright. He's an extremely bright guy. He's a heck of an offensive line coach. He's a worker. He's a worker. If he sees somebody standing there, they're going to work. He takes very little breaks, but he's very bright. Him and Liam were together before. He has a very good feel of the system. They do a very good job together along with Picucci, but it's nothing but great first impressions for him, the way he teaches, the building blocks he's putting in place. So hopefully it pays off going forward.
Anything else?
Hey, thank you, Todd Bowles. Thank you, Bucks YouTube. Let's scoot it over. Obviously, I'm not going to give a grade here. This is the first press conference. I gave Dave Canales one because he deserved it. He had a first-time head coach, but Todd Bowles has been here. Todd Bowles knows what to do. Jalen McMillan, I love that. Again, I'm going to actually, you know what? I'm going to bring those picks back up. I'm going to put them on the screen. Here we go. Graham Barton, Braswell, Tyke Smith, McMillan, Irving, Elijah Klein, and Devin Culp. I like what you guys did there. I'm super excited for the future. If you're a Bucks fan, make sure you subscribe because I got more stuff coming to you. Player, coach, and more breakdowns right here on Roll Coverage. My name is Nick. Have a great rest of the day. Peace.